Hello and welcome back to the second part of the Farm Acts. I must say they are not bills anymore. So in this video, I'll be talking about the remaining two acts and the complaints or the issues that are being raised by the farmers, which come in the protesters category. So the first out of those two bills or acts is the Farmer Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. So what this act talks about it, contract farming, like the private share, like the private markets, once who are in private market, they can make contract with the farmers, like for that can be for anything. Like if someone who has a ketchup industry would make a contract for tomatoes or anything similar, like if someone has a tie-up with chips industry, then he could make a contract for potatoes. So that's how it could be. So what the politicians are making farmers believe, or rather the protesters are asking for, is the farmers are rather less educated in the entire nation. We know the education the farmers get, like they aren't very educated to understand the terms and contract conditions which the contractors would tie them up with. So if that is done, the farmers would have very less freedom to make choice for their for choosing crops of their own, or like the crops that they want to choose for themselves. So that would be happening on one thing. And what also is the farmers demand is like, okay, inclusion of contracts is like not that much of issue, but if that is happening, then there should be also induction of MSP, the minimum support price, which I talked in the prior video. So MSP is not at all boosted on the private sectors. Like if private companies are jumping here in, so MSP is literally moved out of the image. So that is happening, and that's what makes the people believe the government is not ready to take responsibility. And the last is essential commodities bill. So what this bill talks about is holding. Like what already happened, holding was not allowed for the middlemen. So what was this issue here? What is the issue here? Like if there's one middleman, he buys a certain amount of, say, onions. Like if he buys a lot of onions and he hoards them, like he sets up keeps them up until the harvest come in. And then when the harvest comes, the farmer will be having onions, and the one who is middleman, he will be having onions as well. So he knows he doesn't need any onions, and the farmer knows he wants to sell his onions. So what will happen herein? The middleman will impose a very less amount on the onions. Like he'll ask for a very less price for the onions, and that would be very less for the farmer. But the farmer will be compelled to sell it because he knows that if he keeps it at his place, then they are going to be degraded anyways. So then he'll be having a compulsion to sell it at a very low price. So that's what the third issue is. And now, what are the complaints that are being raised by the farmers and protesters? So the first thing is they say that this favors private players, like what this government, like I must say, the NDS policy has been to induce capitalization in the market. And considering all that, the farmers or the protesters say that this is favoring private players. The second thing is MSP is not tied anywhere. Like they have no problem if there's MSP tied to all the bills in private sector as well. So what they are saying is, if you are doing this for the capitalization purpose, then why is the removal of MSP? If that happens one day and MSP is totally removed out of the law, which the Prime Minister is reiterating again and again that it would be never removed, but still the farmers doubt. So MSP's removal is again a concern for them. But I would like to also mention a factor in the MSP's advantage is taken just by 6% of the farmers, and that is very less when you consider about the 50% of population undergoing agriculture sector. So what farmers are also saying is APMC. If you want to make removal of APMC, so that's not necessary. If you think APMC is not efficient, the farmers are saying reform it. Like you could improve the working procedure of APMC. That's what is necessary and not its removal. And middleman, the government is also reiterating that we are trying to remove the middleman. So consider for that matter, like some a very farmer who is working in his village, and he would be having literally no tie-ups with private players. So there will be middleman in that process as well. So the farmers are saying, like, if you are saying it is for the sake of middleman, then the middleman is going to be not removed in any case. And what farmers are saying is the like government should pay attention, because 50%, when the major chunk of country, like 50% of population of a country pursues agriculture as their career, or rather that is imposed on them because of no other job opportunities or the less education. So the farmers are saying that the government should take responsibilities for farmers, which government is seemingly, or the farmers are interpreting out of this bill that the government is trying to avoid to take responsibilities. Like they are trying to impose it all on private sector, and government is trying to make it hands free out of this. So that is what the farmers are thinking out of it. So that was it about. And what happened after that was there was a ruckus in Rajya Sabha, like the bills were passed without consent and with any discussion. So that's what happened, and there's a protest going on, and that will go on. So let's see if the protests yield any results. But what I think is about these bills, like it's okay to let them end. Like if even if like we are seeing what's happening since past, the other ways that the farmers are tackling, it's not working anyways. So if there are new bills or new reforms happening, so let's at least give it a try. So that's what is my opinion. You can have a different opinion, and you're allowed to have that. So that's it for today. Thank you. Wrapping it today. Jai Hind.